Okay, let's map our last argument, the argument from the wrongness of killing, and I've got the argument in front of us. So where are we at here? The ethicists also appeal to the principle that it's wrong to kill one person to save another, and taking Teresa's organs would be killing her to save others, so conclusion, taking the organs would be wrong. Let's map the basic argument. Okay, here we go. It would be wrong. Why think that? Principle, it's wrong to kill one person to save another, and co-premise, taking Teresa's organs would be killing her to save others. So, watertight support. Alright, so is the argument sound? Well, the prohibition on killing is an important moral rule. Nevertheless, few people believe it's always wrong to kill. Rather, most people think there are at least sometimes exceptions. How do we put that in here? So we're objecting to this premise, right? So here's one way to spell this out. I filled this in because what we're objecting to is that it's always wrong to kill, right? Few people believe it's always wrong to kill. So I added that in here, which is technically different. It's wrong to kill one to save another. So I added in why? Because it's always wrong to kill. An objection, few people believe it's always wrong to kill. Most people believe the exceptions are sometimes justified. So one question that I have for you is this a good reason to not believe that? Well, we're reasoning on the basis of what people believe, right? Just because everyone believes or doesn't believe something doesn't make it true. That being said, this might be an indication of what's plausible, or in order for an argument to be convincing to people, the basic premises need to be acceptable. So maybe the point here is just a lot of people aren't going to find this to be an acceptable premise, and it does seem pretty counterintuitive. And we could probably identify lots of exceptions. All right, so I'm just going to leave it mapped like this anyway. And ultimately, though, I wanted to capture that we are objecting to the principle, not just that it's always wrong. So I did put this here too, and I thought that made sense. So I think that this principle isn't correct. If we mean by it is, I mean always. So not always, there are exceptions to the rule, and specifically, this is the real objection here. Baby Teresa's case is an exception. You could even just sort of cut this out and be like, Baby Teresa's case is an exception to this rule. Why think that? Baby Teresa's going to die soon, no matter what is done, and donating her organs now, not later, will save lives. And then on top of that, the fact that she doesn't have any experiences or quality of life might be something from a previous argument we could add in here. But we'll just go with what we're given. Okay, so that seems to capture this first line of reasoning, this first objection. But there is another possibility. Perhaps the best way of understanding the whole situation would be to regard baby Teresa as already dead. Where does that fit in? So the first bit of reasoning all applied to this principle about it always being wrong to kill, or to kill one to save another. And now it looks like he's turning our attention to this other premise, challenging the idea that taking Teresa's organs would be killing her. You can't kill somebody if they are already technically classified as dead, so, and accurately so. So we're going to put the objection here. So we've got baby Teresa is already dead, and we could put a co-premise here, right? If someone is already dead, then they, using their organs would not be killing them. Why think that baby Teresa is already dead? Baby Teresa is brain dead, specifically, right? Brain dead is a legitimate form of death. Objection, though. So we do have this potential objection here. Anencephalics do not meet the technical requirements for brain death, but response, they should. So, objection, they don't meet the technical requirements, but they should. How does that go? But perhaps the definition should be rewritten. So we're not objecting to, yes, they do, they meet the current technical definition. We're not going to say that that claim is false. We're going to say that even if that's true, it doesn't mean she shouldn't be. And reason, after all, they lack hope for conscious life for the same reason, right? So I've put the objection to the bar, right? So even if this is true, doesn't mean she doesn't count. Perhaps what we need to do is rewrite the definition of brain death. And then he provided a further reason, which we could fill in here, but I have just sort of left it out. And that's my final complete map here. Now, in my first map, I said I liked to color code the different voices in the conversation, and I said I was going to do it in the second video, but I'm pretty sure I forgot to. So what would I color code in this one? So imagine the person who is defending this conclusion, right? So this would be one person's voice, and then this would be Rachel's, right? Saying like, few people believe this, here's a reason to think this is an exception. Here's Rachel's objecting to this, and this is Rachel's reason for his objection. Now this one would be another voice, right? And then this is Rachel's response. So if I was going to say make everything Rachel said blue, I would make this blue, I'd make this blue, I'd make this blue, and I'd make this, and this blue, and I'd make that blue. Because those are all things that are Rachel's voice. Everything else is the hypothetical argument other people could be making and the objections to Rachel's reasoning they could be introducing. Okay, so I made everything Rachel said blue, and everything that's not in blue is part of the sort of hypothetical opponent's argument, or alternative person, not necessarily an opponent. And sometimes I said I like to highlight principles just to indicate them, but this could conflict with capturing, voices. So use color coding in a way that makes sense so you can sort of easily read the arguments and the back and forth between different potential voices. There's not just one right way to do it. Okay, hopefully that's helpful.